はい、会話を聞かれるような距離じゃない。
私にミカサ天智さんの隠れ場所を今のうちに食料の追加運搬をし、私は今ラッキーなことにとりあえず今やれるのは。
わかった。教えるよ。お前まさか。
Last time on Tomodachi Game, Maria was saved by the opposing team after being pushed off a cliff by Yuichi. Back at the food station, Hyakutaro and Chisato quickly recount the events that took place. Kei's mind starts racing as he realizes that if Yuichi managed to get food, then the game could be prolonged even more. Suddenly, Yuichi makes his grand return and starts ordering Maria around like she's some sort of object he owns. Hyakutaru's blood starts to boil as he stands up for Maria, but to everyone's surprise, Maria stops him, saying that's exactly what Yuichi wants. The tension in the air is palpable as Yuichi takes things to the next level by violently pulling Maria's hair. Kei knows that this is completely unacceptable and tries to reason with Manabu about how violent behavior shouldn't be tolerated. But Manabu confirms that violence against team members is okay, only violence against opponents is forbidden. The situation quickly spirals out of control as Yuichi keeps provoking them, stating that he can do whatever he wants to Maria and it won't break any rules. Hyakutaru suggests that Maria joins their team, but Chisato senses something fishy about the whole situation and wonders if they're being tricked. He uses his vast experience with women to deduce that Maria may be acting, but this only causes a rift between him and Hyakutaro. Things escalate quickly as they get into a heated argument, almost coming to blows. However, Kei knows that they need to stick together and reminds them that their captain should have the final say on the matter. This only causes Yuichi to taunt them even more, calling them pathetic for not being able to decide on their own whether or not to protect a girl. Determined to set things right, Hyakutaru volunteers to talk to their captain. Kei agrees, but suggests they both go directly to the captain to avoid any further misunderstandings. Yuichi ponders the possibility that Juzo's absence has exacerbated the tensions between Chisato and Hyakutaro. He muses that Juzo, if present, would likely allow Maria to join their group, but their carefully crafted plan dictates that she must decline, citing Yuichi's supposed grudge against her. This, in turn, could cause Hyakutaru to spiral out of control and lash out at Yuichi. It is plausible that his comrades could restrain him, but even that would only serve to heighten the already palpable friction among them. In the end, Yuichi resolves to sway Hyakutaru to their side. Should he succeed, victory would be all but assured. Fortunately, Yuichi has a few tricks up his sleeve, chief among them the means to extract their captain's whereabouts from Hyakutaro. Several hours later, Kei and Hyakutaro return to the room. Disappointed and downtrodden, Hyakutaro breaks the news to Maria that Juzo did not allow for her to switch sides. Nonetheless, there is a glimmer of hope as Juzo shared that there's still one more way to protect the girl. Chisato catches on to this and makes an earnest attempt to persuade Hyakutaro against what's about to happen. Despite her pleas, Hyakutaro is resolute and heads towards Manabu to express his wish to switch sides to Group C. In an instant, Yuichi gives his approval and Manabu announces that Hyakutaro is now an official member of Group C. With unwavering determination, Hyakutaro states that he will continue to play for Group K and take on the double debt when they win. In an unanticipated turn of events, Hyakutaro attempts to punch Yuichi, but the seasoned player effortlessly dodges and pins him to the ground. Firmly, he reminds Hyakutaro that violence has no place in either group and ties him up. It is then that Yuichi instructs Group K to use this as an opportunity to have a discussion with their captain. Yuichi excitedly dials Tenji's number, his heart pounding with anticipation. As soon as Tenji picks up, he blurts out the news. They've finally managed to recruit a member into their group. Tenji lets out a whoop of joy, congratulating Yuichi on a job well done. But there's still one crucial piece of information missing: the whereabouts of their captain, Juzo. Yuichi knows that their new recruit must know something, and he's determined to find out what it is. Meanwhile, Maria's heart is heavy as she speaks to Hyakutaro. She knows that he won't be able to protect her from Yuichi's wrath, but she's grateful for his efforts nonetheless. Her mind races with fear as she contemplates what Yuichi might do to make Hyakutaro spill their captain's location. Hyakutaro tries to reassure Maria, telling her that he's tough enough to withstand anything that Yuichi might throw at him. But Maria knows better. She's heard rumors of the cruel and ruthless things that Yuichi is capable of. Her voice trembles as she warns Hyakutaro of the danger that they're in. Suddenly, Yuichi's ears prick up as he eavesdrops on their conversation. His heart sinks as he hears that Hyakutaro might not know anything after all. Elsewhere, Juzo confides in Kei about their latest recruit, Hyakutaro. Kei nods in agreement, assuring Juzo that everything is going according to plan, but he reminds Juzo to be polite and respectful to their new member when they meet. As the pieces of their plan start to fall into place, Reiko watches on with a satisfied smirk. She knows that Kei is the true mastermind behind everything, a true genius who controls the strings from behind the scenes. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Are anime movies better than anime shows? Why? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now, back to the recap. Yuichi curiously asks Hyakutaro why he didn't see their captain. To his surprise, Hyakutaro explains that they received a call on their way, urging them to rush back to the food station. Group C was up to something, and they had no choice but to heed the call. Kei, being the wise leader that he is, decided to call their captain instead of visiting him. As Yuichi digests this information, he realizes the true leader of their group. With newfound respect, he picks up his phone and calls Kei. The puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place, and Kei confirms that Yuichi is finally getting it. But Yuichi has no intention of making another mistake. Kei assures him that they secured their win when they acquired the time bomb Hyakutaro. Despite Yuichi not being as smart as Kei, he should be able to figure out what he means. Shocked, Yuichi turns to Maria, confessing that they will definitely lose. Juzo, on the other hand, notices that Kei is looking happy. Kei confirms that thanks to Yuichi, he wasn't bored in the last few days. With a plan in mind, he explains the two main points to Juzo: Hyakutaro switching sides but having no intention to betray them, and using violence against an opponent. These are the keys to their eventual victory. But what about Kei's backstory? Tsukino asks Reiko, who reveals that he is a genius who gets bored of everything quickly. She believes he joined Tomodachi game just to kill some time. As for Juzo's obedience, Reiko guesses that Kei found his weak point. As Yuichi begins to panic, Maria's mind races as she tries to figure out what is happening. After a few moments of chaos, Yuichi explains that the violence rule dictates that if Hyakutaro attacks someone from Group K, they will lose immediately. To avoid this, Yuichi took matters into his own hands and tied up Hyakutaro, hoping that they would win right away. However, as time passed, Hyakutaro became a ticking time bomb, making it impossible for them to move. Despite the urgency of the situation, Yuichi remains calm and collected as he suggests hiding Hyakutaro to avoid detection. But before they can put their plan into action, Chisato and Banri appear out of nowhere, revealing that Yuichi is already too late. The next morning, Maria is feeling restless and bored. As she wanders around, Kei approaches her and comments that he had been hoping to get her alone. Maria is caught off guard when Kei reveals that he knows she's from the management team. Kei explains that they received food rations based on the size of their group, and when Maria showed up, she didn't look hungry at all. Kei deduces that she must be from the management team. Kei then makes a bold proposition to Maria. He wants her to betray Yuichi. He argues that as a player, it would be weird for her to not betray him, especially since Group K is sure to win. Maria is intrigued by Kei's offer and wonders if betraying Yuichi would make her feel like a different character. Kei reveals that he's the type of person who likes fun over reason and logic. and he could make the sadistic Yuichi crumble into a pathetic failure. Maria can't help but get excited at the prospect of such an entertaining game. She agrees to team up with Kei, eager to see what kind of chaos they can create together. Maria reaches out to Yuichi urgently, inquiring if there is anyone in the vicinity. With a sense of relief, Yuichi confirms that although they are keeping a watchful eye on him, they are not nearby. Fearing for Tenji's well-being, Maria implores Yuichi to disclose his whereabouts. She wishes to bring him sustenance since she is alone at present. Observing Kei, Banri, and Chisato joining forces, Yuichi sees a glimmer of hope. He senses that with more time, he could devise a plan to save Tenji. Upon hearing Yuichi's assent, Maria rushes off to meet with Kei. In a treacherous act of betrayal, she informs him of their plans. Yuichi's anger is palpable as he falls to his knees, yelling in frustration. Kei remains unperturbed, convinced that Yuichi has revealed the location of their missing comrade. With a nightfall looming, Kei suggests they begin searching immediately. As dusk approaches, Kei hastily dials Tenji's number. Immediately, he warns him about Yuichi's atrocious plan to prioritize winning over Tenji's life. Kei insists that Tenji should steer clear of him, as Yuichi is planning something terrible. Kei pleads that Tenji to cut ties with Yuichi as soon as possible. Initially, Tenji is hesitant and claims to be ignorant of Yuichi's plan. However, Kei is unrelenting and demands Tenji to repeat himself louder. Tension begins to escalate as Tenji loses his temper and screams at Kei to back off. Tenji states that he has faith in Yuichi and is betting on him. Kei, satisfied with hearing Tenji's response, suddenly appears in front of him, revealing his location. Meanwhile, Manabu's voice echoes throughout the area, announcing that the game has ended and everyone, including the hider, should return to the food station. Tenji is bewildered by their defeat, but Kei assures him that they had underestimated their opponents. Kei reminds Tenji that he is a genius and that they will prevail next time. How will our main characters deal with this loss? Who will win this game? Find out next time on our next recap of Tomodachi Game.